button yet. Ha ha ha! Hello and welcome. Hello. This is Total Spotfest, where at least one of us is trying to prevent the algorithm from blowing us up, and maybe the other two are trying desperately to go the other direction. Who knows? Who could say? But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. I am JJ. That is Jamie. That is Austin. This is wrestling. How you boys doing?
Doing well, man. Got a busy week this week. Double dosing the podcasting. If those of you that follow me on the Twitter machine might have seen or have not, tomorrow night I'll be stopping by with our friends from I-70 Hot Tag to sit down and chat pro wrestling for a little while. So solid week. How about y'all?
We didn't get the invite, but it's fine.
Yeah, we didn't get the invite. It's okay. We'll have to talk to Chase about that.
Fine.
I will mention it to them tomorrow that both of y'all are salty that you got the invite. I'm gonna tell them from now on they've got to book all three of us at the same time, so you can have like multiple people talking over each other.
We are a package duel. We deal. We are the trios podcasting champions. No. It was ironic because I remember like as I was just getting to know, because we and Jamie had been kind of around the Kansas City circle for a little bit, right? You know, and then they started theirs up, right? And we see them at like all the shows and stuff, and we're like, those guys. I think we're trying to think about it, right? You know, I got to know him a little bit, and Chase always like, oh man, we should. You guys are great. You know, we're always very very cordial with each other, right? He's like, we should do some sort of like collab. We should do a collab, right? Absolutely. Never done a collab.
Never got there.
We never got. So anyway, but no, give them stuff. So definitely check out I-70 Hot Take. You can catch them on YouTube and on Facebook. They actually stream on Facebook as well too. So yeah, my week's not been near. And you have a little wrestling to do this weekend down in Wichita.
Yes, sir. Heartland Championship Wrestling. Me and T2G will be defending our tag team titles against Only Friends, among multiple other matches. So if you are in Wichita or Wichita adjacent, like maybe the Kansas City area, make the hike. HCW is always a good time.
Yes, I will be there. This will be our first in Wichita show, so looking forward to seeing everybody there and maybe start a chant. I don't like to start chants on my very first time in foreign territory. You know, typically, but I might do one. This is family friendly again, yeah.
Yeah, this is a family friendly show, so like,
okay.
Keep that in mind when starting a chant, but absolutely chant away. I'm sure a lot of people will join in. It is a very solid pro wrestling crowd here in Wichita.
So you're going with Megan and her boyfriend, right?
Correct.
So it's his third wrestling show, if I'm not mistaken.
His third.
And we've gone. This is the full gambit we've done here. So GCW as your cherry breaker, which that's fucking
why
fantastic.
Not, right?
AEW, where we just so happen to be featured on TV, all of us, right? You know, some more than others. What's up, Austin? I see you there. And then small local in his hometown.
I know.
So
he's gonna get the full Monty of wrestling. Yeah. I mean, the next thing would be a WWE event, but we got time before they come back to Kansas City because I'm not going anywhere. The only one I go see is a Royal Rumble, which we'll put a pin in that. I feel like that's a good conversation for later.
That's a very good conversation.
Yeah.
Well, we do have Journey.
Why go to any other pay-per-view than like one of the big four? Because you're gonna get 4 matches in 3.5 hours.
They go to Raw.
As bait. Okay. Well, and we do have Fountain City Pro starring up here, and as the weather starts to get a little warmer, we have other things coming around in Kansas City. One promotion we will make sure nobody goes to, but
yeah, those who shall not be named because we want to bury them.
We want to bury that. We will just say, if you do see, we have professed our love for wrestling at Kansas Hall. But if you see a poster for the former Kansas Hall Guitars and Cadillacs promoting a wrestling show, don't go to it. That's all we're going to say.
Support your local. True local. Like Go Chicken Go local.
They're opening one up by me.
That's delicious.
Like
You ever
literally
had
down
Go
the...
Chicken Go? Austin, have you ever had Go Chicken Go?
No, I've not heard of it.
Okay. So it is a chicken joint like KFC, Popeyes, stuff like that. That's local here to Kansas City. There's one in Olathe actually, just right down the road from the ball center. So maybe next time, if I know you're going on late, I'll buy you some chicken for you and the missus, and I'll let you guys have some Go Chicken Go before your match.
We do enjoy chicken. It doesn't matter when we're on in the show. Just I'm always tag teaming. So I'm on the apron and PTG's getting his ass beat in the ring. Just hand me some chicken.
Here's some gizzards. Here you go.
Yeah, they do livers, gizzards. I don't know if you're into that. But my favorite thing is their mashed potatoes because it's got the nuclear yellow chicken gravy. Like it's legit chicken gravy. It looks like the stuff from when you were in high school, dude. It's so delicious.
Since we brought up chicken, just a quick pull around the horn. White meat or dark meat, guys?
If I had to choose, dark meat.
Oh, I like my meat like I like my men, dark.
That's why I like y'all. I have never understood people that do not like dark meat or chicken thighs because that's like where all the flavor lives. I mean, chicken breast is fine, but you can't beat dark.
So back before COVID, all this stuff, going on, we always would get together and watch all the pay-per-views, mostly at Jamie's house because he does have 4 daughters, right? But whatever, I don't give a shit. I'll drive wherever, right? So I can't remember what pay-per-view it was, but it was myself, Jamie, our former young boy who used to be on this podcast back when we started, Jamie's whole family, right? And so whatever pay-per-view it was, I don't remember, but Jamie had gone to KC Wings and got a giant tray full of naked dry rubs and a giant tray full of buffalo, right? Like, we had enough wings that to hypothetically feed like 40 people. I say hypothetically because there was one match where Jimmy and me both were standing over by this little table we set up, basically where his desk is right now, okay? With this little table up over there, and we just went to town. We probably both ate about 3 pounds of wings each during that match. It
was glorious.
And nobody really paid attention until like about, we were like 2.5 pounds each in, and all of a sudden Jamie's wife just goes, "Jesus Christ, you two." What?
That was my competitive eating days.
I also have ordered an unreasonable amount of wings for pro wrestling story all the way back when I was in high school. There was a little local joint called Big City Wings that would show the WWF pay-per-views. There was no cover or anything. It's just they would throw it on whenever they were happening.
Hell yeah.
So me, my older brother, and our neighbor Adam all go to watch the 2001 King of the Ring. Probably the greatest King of the Ring pay-per-view they ever put on.
That was a good
Shane
one.
McMahon getting tossed through the stage by Kurt Angle.
It was great.
Phenomenal show. So we go and we're like, all right, we're going to be here for 3 hours. Let's order the biggest wing platter they had, which was like 100 wings. And it came with 4 large sides. And there is throughout the night, like one other table comes in, not even to watch wrestling, like just to eat, because this place wasn't ever very busy. So it's just the 3 of us. And we get halfway through the show, and there is still a ton of wings and sides and stuff left. And our waiter happened to be a wrestling fan too. And he ends up just sitting at the table with us, just getting in on the wings, watching Kurt Angle destroy Shane McMahon. Phenomenal night of pro wrestling.
Oh, we didn't need any help.
Like memory right there.
That's a good one. We didn't need help. Like Jamie thought he was gonna have like they're thinking like, oh, we're gonna get, no, there was barely any wings left at the end of that night. We obliterated them.
Yeah, we crushed some wings. It was delicious. I'll do it again too.
Hell yeah.
One of these days we'll have to like if we're not going like I think next year I think we do need to get on the circuit and go to All In or All Out. Like I think that's what we need to do. But if we don't, we need to like host something here in Casa El Faulkner.
Yeah, let's have a big like we used to. If we're not gonna go, let's do that.
If we can find like if there ends up being an AEW pay-per-view, that's maybe the night after Fountain City.
Oh, perfect.
So that we'll already be in Kansas City.
They sometimes do that. They sometimes fall. Like they've had a couple that have fallen. Them and Journey Pro, they've been like right there. So
I'll do some research, gentlemen.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Put a big pin in that one here. So I'm excited for Go Chicken Go. Like I said, literally, there's a new one opening 2 blocks from my dealership where I work. It's not good for my waistline, but.
I can tell as soon as I said "Go Chicken Go" in front of your, I can see you're like, I don't know what that is. It's like, don't worry, I got you.
I don't think I've ever come across a chicken joint that I wasn't a fan of, so I'm looking forward to finding out about this place.
Yeah. So this one, we're gonna get to wrestling, I swear, guys. But we got a couple fat boys talking to somebody.
Fat boys talking food.
We can go right. So. There's one, like you said, down in Olathe, down by Bell. They're opening one up by me up here. But the original Go Chicken Goes, the original locations were all just like hole in the wall ghetto.
That's the best. That's how you know it's going to be.
That's how you know it's good chicken.
Same with like Chinese food. If you walk into a place and there's just like a little menu sign and like one table. Yeah. And it's all sitting out ready to get scooped out. That's going to be some of the best Chinese food you're
barbecue joints. I mean, Jack Stack's good and all, but barbecue joints, you got to have like that, almost that film on like the tiles you walk in. You're kind of like, what is it? Where are
LCs, baby. LCs. That's the first thing. Like, yeah, like a tetanus shot. You walk in there.
Oh.
All
right.
Let's talk a little wrestling.
Let's talk some Dynamite. How about we do that?
Let's start out with the Dynamite, gentlemen. There was a storm going on in the southern region of the United States, and it was lots of snow for people who are not used to snow. So flights were canceled, things had to get changed, moved around. But honestly, I thought with what they had, it was a fun show tonight. And again, there are some positives. There's always some negatives. You know, like we have to be real. But I definitely think overall, gentlemen, I liked tonight's show. What'd you guys think?
I think it had a different feel to it. A lot due to some of those changes, right? And again, like we talked about last week, I think they're starting to find their footing. I said it's going to be a couple weeks, right? I want to see how they go with this new setting, kind of the new backdrop, the way they're doing it. They played around with some camera tricks tonight, which I'll point out later on I really liked. But it just kind of felt a little different, but that's not in a bad way at all, right? It felt like they were doing some different things very intentionally. And, you know, I think that's what you got to do right now, right? Their numbers have lulled in the past year, right? And I think in order for you to gain back momentum, you do need to kind of get some traction going and do some different stuff. So I felt like they were kind of playing around with that. And overall, I actually really enjoyed tonight's show.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid show, pretty much top to bottom. The smaller venues looks dope on TV. It's I think the biggest thing is that when you're running these smaller venues, each venue looks unique. Because an arena is an arena for the most part across the country.
Exactly.
Whether it's an NBA size arena or even the smaller like 10,000 seaters. But this was a very unique looking venue, which I think really added to the opening segment, which we'll jump into a second. But yeah, it was awesome looking venue. Pretty hot crowd for most of it. Not necessarily a marquee match that you're just dying to see, but I don't think it needed one. You got a lot of story. You got more of a story that we've all decided has kind of run its course, unfortunately. But generally speaking, like it seems like a lot of different members of the roster are actually involved in stuff. And we'll get to the women's match. But the fact that there's a women's feud that is not about either title that has a little bit of a story to it, that's interesting TV. It's just something to follow along with, which is what you need to deliver week in and week out.
Couldn't agree more. I love the setting, the entire show up until the very end. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, touche.
I mean, other than Hot Take, the Rock and Roll Express or Midnight Express, Midnight Express getting concertoed, I'm okay with that. Like Hot Take, I'm not a big fan of them. Never have been, but that's okay. There are much better tag teams out there. Demolition for Hall of Fame 2025. But anyway,
and I'm just like, I'm like, they're still around. These guys are still kind of locking around my TV in 2025.
Their grandsons are wrestling. Grandchildren are wrestling.
Yeah, I get the thought like they're in Tennessee, so let's beat up some Tennessee legends. But like,
there's a lot of Tennessee. Tennessee is one of those signature. That's Mid-South wrestling right there, guys. Does it have to be Rock and Roll Express?
They should have concertoed superstar Bill Dundee. I was in a battle royal with him once, by the way.
No shit.
Really?
I did WrestleCade in 2015, and there was like a giant battle royal to start the show. So you're in there with like, I'm in there with like a bunch. It's mostly indie guys, but a bunch of just random old names. Greg the Hammer Valentine was in there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Which was funny because the entranceway was elevated probably a good 6-7 feet above like the level where the ring was, and there was a ramp that came down from the locker room, but it was a very steep ramp. And Greg the Hammer Valentine in 2015, probably still today because it's a decade later, wasn't moving too well, so he's doing this like little slow shuffle down the ramp, which I don't blame him. Like he probably would have fallen and died if he didn't. He was in there. Ernest the Cat Miller was in there. Superstar Bill Dundee, Glacier, Colt Cabana. But to top it all off, the cherry on top of this battle royal, who we were all instructed, nobody touch him. He's doing a quick little thing and then getting out right at the beginning. The Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant. Yeah,
dude.
That's rad.
Yeah, my old tag partner, Ruthless Ryan Davidson, who still wrestles for Booker down in Houston. If you're not familiar, look him up. Phenomenal worker. We're in the middle of this battle royal, and superstar Bill Dundee comes up and just grabs him by the ear and goes, "You cocksucker," and throws a working punch at him. And that's like the best story he has in pro wrestling.
Oh my god.
He got called a cocksucker. Yes. By the Boogie Woogie Man. Yes.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, I don't know how we're going to top that, but we'll give it a try.
I mean, there was a lot of good in this episode.
There was a lot of good. That opening segment was by far and away a highlight, other than the fact that Jamie felt it went just a tad too long. That was my only negative. I thought it did that because how the show kind of happened, so they made it run a little bit longer. But I really enjoyed the face-off between Kenny Omega and Bowl Cut Brian, Will Ospreay. Why is he changing his hair so damn much?
I don't know. Okay.
I mean, I know I need a haircut, so I can't complain. But it just like he had this just rocked a bowl cut, like, bro.
I literally didn't even pay attention till you just brought that up. I go, he did a bowl cut, didn't he?
He sure did.
Yeah, he sure did.
I like how they started off with this whole thing because we know where this is going, right? Jamie has been pontificating about this already. Yes, it's coming, guys. Just wait, all right? We already got it in our group chat. Don't worry. It was like, I could hear Jamie's house vibrating through my phone.
What do you mean?
But I love how they kind of got into this, and Kenny Omega steals because they very abruptly. Oh, you don't remember last time we're in the ring? I remember you dropping me on my head and trying to break my neck, and then you stabbed me with a screwdriver. It's like, touche. That's why I miss Kenny Omega so much. This man. Which, okay, guys, can we talk for a second here? Thank you for listening to our show, Tony Khan, and giving Kenny Omega new graphics, but the right music. His old best bout machine, best move.
Yeah. Bring out the new music for pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Big matches. But his older theme just hits so much harder on TV.
It's such a good theme.
It really is. It really is.
The Final Fantasy nerd in me loves his new one. I do. But you guys are 100% right. I'm going to give you all the kudos, guys.
Yeah.
Both of you said it. And both of you are right. It is a pay-per-view only, King of Kings style. Makes too much damn sense.
It's boss fight music. Even in Final Fantasy, like when you get to a boss fight, the music's going to pick up to something epic. You need that epic moment for that track. His other one is just regular, let's kick some ass on a Wednesday music at its best.
And his regular one is very, poignant and very singular to him. So it's familiar, which is the point. All right.
Love it.
So
anyway, those two, of course, they got some beef between each other, and they're getting ready to go at it. And then here hits the brown note itself. Don Callis comes on out, and instantly, here comes Kenny hopping over, going right after Don. And then here comes Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. They start fighting with them, and then Ospreay's watching. I don't know what to do. Oh, yeah, brother, you know exactly what to do. He hops, they start fighting, they start going at it, and then it becomes absolute mayhem because they are all over everywhere. And then here comes Brian Cage, here comes the Murder Hawk, and then it's just a 4-on-2 onslaught of just craziness. And next thing you know, you have a team-up suplex by Ospreay and Omega on the Murder Hawk through a table at the merch table, by the way. You had dueling moonsaults. Like, you had everything you'd want. Like, just absolutely fucking nuts in the best possible way.
So, speaking of that dual suplex through the merch table, did y'all catch who was standing back there behind the merch table?
One Man Scout.
Yes, just announced today at Triple L on March 7th in Denver, Man Scout versus Heidi Howitzer.
Woo!
When is that again?
March 7th.
Jamie doesn't look thrilled with that date.
We'll see. The wife and I do need a date weekend.
But now, if you are going to do a date weekend for Triple L, not that the March show will be one to miss, because no Triple L show is one to miss. But after March, I don't remember the exact dates. No, I don't have them written on my little calendar over there. But anniversary weekend's always in May, back-to-back Friday, Saturday shows.
Oh, that's
so if you're going to make the trip for Triple L, you might as well double dip.
Yeah, May.
Well, my problem is that's when my softball season gets hot and heavy, is in May.
Wow, you're like the Psycho Sid of being a wrestling fan. Softball season starts up and you just disappear.
You don't. Here's the funny thing: you say this, and Jamie agrees. Literally, Jamie gets about like 13 hours of sleep for about, 10, 12 weeks there. You think I'm kidding?
No, I mean that's a bit egregious.
That's not as bad anymore because you don't have as many.
20 a week. Like, seriously, it's about 20 a week. Like, I sleep probably 3-4 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's not
not
as
mine.
bad now. You don't have as many girls in softball, so it's getting.
I know
better.
Megan's helping me, and then she's doing her college thing, so that helps. But I got 2 going at the same time now. Last year was 3, and that damn near killed me. Like, I don't know if I could ever do that again. But yeah, I got 2, and then both of them are playing high level now, so it's like, fuck?
So we'll come back to the Triple L. We'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
There. This is one of the parts in this show too that I like, because I talked about they're definitely experimenting with some things, right? And this is one of them. They tried. It wasn't a long, but they tried the hard single cam, right? Or the single cam, right? As they're going around the corner. I really like them trying different things cinematically, because the crowd felt so good in general. We all talked about the setting. I like how it now gives them more room to have people on the entrance again, right? Like you don't how like I just miss that with the way that they've had these different types of stages set up, that but they're trying some different things there, and I really like them experimenting.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this segment. The double moonsaults off the scaffolding and the ledge. Double high spots are always great.
Yes. Flippy
That was
spinny shit.
the
Let's
chef's
go.
kiss on all of it. I liked both of them climbing the scaffolding to make the challenge for the match the next week and all that. My only problem with this segment, and it's a minor one, and it's one of those times where I'm going to apply too much logic to pro wrestling.
Oh, Jesus Christ. There's the door. Leave your stuff at the door when you come in.
So Kenny Omega tells Will Ospreay, as you mentioned earlier, I remember the last time we were in a ring, you dropped me on my head and you stabbed me with a screwdriver. Fair point. But also, the reason why Will Ospreay is at odds with the Don Callis family is he tried to turn the corner and leave, and they stabbed him in the head with a screwdriver. So, Kenny, do you watch the show? Or have you not been paying attention to the last?
Almost died.
This man has had how many surgeries? He's lost over 2 feet of his intestine.
What you're
Okay.
saying is he had time to watch Dynamite.
Hold on. He's lost 2 feet of his intestines. That is the first time I'm hearing this. I have not been hearing this for the past 4 weeks on my
You
television.
haven't heard about the amount of intestine he no longer has in his body?
No. They've not said it once.
But yeah,
So-
small logic point aside, killer opening segment to the show.
Yeah.
Yes. The official formation, gentlemen, of the Omega Powers. The Omega Powers. Now just gotta have the Omega Power handshake, dude.
Dude, with
And then-
those two, it's got to be like a hit the ropes, do a backflip handspring right into it.
But they gotta do the like they gotta
High
get
elbow. The
really
high elbow.
high and just like tease it, and then they go and they gotta do the
It's the
foot thing.
Rock.
They gotta do the foot thing after. They're stomping their feet a little bit. You
What
know
what
I'm
if
talking about. Everybody knows
what
I'm
if they
talking
don't
about,
do
right?
any of that, but they do the butch you son of a bitch?
No, you can't do that. The Outrunners do that, and that's gimmick infringement.
That's
You can't do that to the Outrunners.
Touche.
That is
The next tag team champions, like three removed.
Jamie's already planned this all out.
I do got to say, since this entire segment was in service of setting up the tag match for Grand Slam Australia,
Yeah.
Ospreay and Omega versus Fletcher and Takeshita, this entire segment could have been them just walking out, staring at each other and saying nothing for 10 minutes, and then just announcing the match, and I still would have lost my shit about it, because that's going to be phenomenal.
Hashtag gonna steal the show, because you got Kyle Fletcher, you got Takeshita, both
Kyle
of those
Fletcher
two
in his homeland.
in his homeland. Kenny's first match back in AEW in a pay-per-view-ish type scenario. And you got Will Ospreay. There's no way they're letting Omega lose here. Like, I would be floored. My flabbers would be gasted, whatever, if they actually had Omega lose here.
I do got to disagree with you a bit, though. That is not going to steal the show. You can't steal the show when you're obviously like the coolest match they could possibly book right now.
That's fair.
Like you are the show at that point.
That is the headliner. I mean, yes, you've got Tony Storm and Mariah May, sure, right? But that's up. These are on the marquee together. You talk about burying the lead. You can't bury this. This is every Mark's wet dream basically right now. The four, to be fair, probably the four cornerstones of AEW's men's division as we're moving into 2025. Yes, I know there's Swerve and Hanger and Jay White and others, but let's be real here. These four. Let's go.
So I just now noticed in the thing you put Rastin.
I sure did. Yeah, I fat fingered that terribly.
I mean, mine's at least funny because I said, you better hit the like and subscribe. Don't forget to do that, or you'll feel the wrath. For our favorite wrestler right now, I think she's our favorite. Anyway, moving on. Let's go into the actual first real match. I want to go chronologically tonight, just because the ending is the ending, and I feel like
that's fine.
Go into that. The Hurt Syndicate, formerly known as the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin, who has been on a massive run since he's been in AEW. I love the fact that he is just getting over, and they're actually using him. And then the almighty Bobby Lashley are going up against Private Party for the Tag Team Championships. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children of all ages, I was unaware that Bobby Lashley has never held a tag team title until this. Like, legit. Like, that's not a lie. Did not know that. And of course, Private Party fulfills their prophecy as a transitional champion. Mm-hmm. And the Hurt Syndicate is now your champion. How do you guys feel about this?
This was the y'all want to see a dead body match, which I don't mind. Honestly, for Private Party, I don't mind they did that to them. I think that gives them a chance to, work on some stuff. Give them the angle to kind of go forward with, and it makes the Hurt Syndicate look so good. Almost as good as beautiful golden T-shirts that they had on. Loved them. I'm gonna have to get me one of those.
Of course you will.
But yeah.
I'll say as far as giving Private Party somewhere to go from here, I think the best move is to finally split them up.
Exactly.
Which this match in itself, like, they are the perfect team to go out there and get tossed around by Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I'm all for Lashley and Shelton Benjamin winning in what is largely a glorified squash match. My only issue with this had nothing to do with tonight, but everything that has happened since they won those belts. If they would have given Private Party a string of solid title defenses on TV, and then they get just murdered by the Hurt Syndicate, it means even more. But everyone just expected exactly what was going to happen. They were just going to get tossed around. Private Party didn't even get that big of a reaction when they came out, because everyone was just like, cool, we're here to see a murder. We like Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. It's just kind of the same problem the tag division has had for a long time, is that it's an afterthought until they have like one big moment they want to get to. I'm interested to see what they do with the tag titles here. I love that they're on Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. I'm not optimistic that they're going to be that important to the show. And it's more or less going to be the two of them just tossing teams around for the foreseeable future.
If they even really defend them that much, Jamie.
Yeah, so this is something that I've been thinking about for a hot minute. Private Party has not been used well since they become champion. Period.
Yeah.
Their new music sucks. Also, period. Their old music fit them so much better because it got everybody hyped. It's like, ooh, it's Private Party, like, let's go. Like, they're all hyped up. And,
shots.
Yeah, like, it was fun, and this was not. Like, I don't get their new music. It doesn't fit them. And I feel like that also makes the crowd pretty much dead for them, too, because you know how some music just fits them. Like, FTR's fits them, the Outrunners fits them. I'm going to throw them out as much as I can. Takesha's music fits him. The brown
Kenny
nose
Omega.
Don
We
Callis.
just talked about Kenny Omega, right?
Yeah, like it just fits. Theirs doesn't, but they didn't get pushed, and now you have it on the Hurt Syndicate, who is just basically been coming in and just beating the shit out of everybody. You already have another group doing that, which is quite annoying. So what are you gonna do here? And I feel like they're going to have a decent run with them, but ultimately I think it's going to be the Bucks to take it off,
I think the Bucks is the end game for sure.
or FTR.
And because you look at the tag division, you're always going to have FTR and the Bucks. They're the most usual suspects, right? But for the most part, I mean, you've got more teams being broken up than you have teams stepping up to be a viable contender, right? Claimed is no longer a team. We talked about what we think is going to happen with Private Party, right? I mean,
I've got a dark horse for who's going to potentially take the belts off of
is
them.
it the Outrunners?
Meet tornadoes, baby. Meet tornadoes.
I think within the next like 4 weeks of Dynamite, maybe Collision, the Outrunners get squashed by Lashley and Shelton Benjamin at some point in time. That seems like that's going to happen. No, my dark horse team is, I mean, I was thinking about that after they won it tonight. I think if you would have had a Bucks return to set up a program with that, that's very interesting. That would have been hot. I would rather than the Bucks see this build to Lashley and Benjamin versus Brody King and Buddy Matthews.
Okay.
I think that match would slap.
The Hounds of Hell, you mean? The Hounds of Hell. Been trademarked by one Brody King.
Yeah.
But I also have another idea for them, which we will get to later in the show. We'll put a pin in that for now.
Gotta make the sound effect.
Beep.
All right. So let's just go ahead and move on. You did have a warning from Moxley to Copeland or Cope. It's whatever. It was fine. I didn't really care about it that much, other than the fact that where did Wheeler Yuta's eyes go?
he doesn't need eyes. He just remember he's the silent come out, get heat, big spot, screws the other guy over, and then move on. He doesn't need eyes for
He delivers the second best psycho knee in the business.
I do gotta say, before we move on from this quick little promo, I thought the promo itself was actually good and just keeps hammering in the point that everything with the Death Riders would be infinitely better if the world title was not involved.
Right.
If this was just them going after Copeland to get him out of the company because they're trying to bring up the younger generation, that's good TV. But unfortunately, Mox has the title, and we are where we are with all that.
Well, and the whole fact of the matter is that the title hasn't even been shown. It's yes, Dead Horse beating it. It's not relevant. Get the belt out off of him and let them continue to do whatever he's doing. Because Mox is constant, so whatever.
And not only is the AEW title not being shown, we have the international champion getting set up for a tag match at Grand Slam. We have the continental champion wrestling Big Tom on Collision and not really showing up on Dynamite. The TNT champion is in a trios match on Collision this week. You've got 4 main men's singles titles. I know we allude to the world championship each week, but can we start just featuring the championships more in general?
Yeah, they used to be super heavy with them all the time, shoving them down our throats. Now It's like they're
title
never
match,
there.
some title match every week. Somebody is putting a belt on the line.
You just wish a champion would just be out there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just flaunting that they're a champion.
You would think. I would love to see. You've got 4 men's singles titles. You've got roughly 4 Dynamites a month. Maybe not the world title, although they're not shy about putting world title matches on TV. We got one last week. Let's get a singles title defended every week, and let's rotate through them just to show your champions off. I would actually like to see him take the TNT title and make it like the old WCW TV title. It's literally named after a network.
That's
Granted,
the thought.
Dynamite's a different network. Yeah.
That was the thought, that it was going to be a TV title. Fuck, even when Samoa Joe held it, he was the king of television, right? Because he had the TV titles.
Let's get our boy Danny Garcia out there defending that title like at least every other week on Dynamite.
I mean, hey, don't tell me it was.
I'm not even gonna lie. I forgot who had it there for like a good minute until you said TNT. I'm like, oh, who is it again? Oh yeah, like not even kidding.
I hear you. But after that, you had.
Well, you had a really good video package with Mariah May. I'm gonna put a pin in that because I do want to talk about Tony talking about how she's gonna be there, and then here comes Harley Cameron. And then they have this little exchange, like, "Hey, you're an Aussie, going to be down there in Aussie. Like, why? Who says you can't be there, Harley?" And all this, and they started talking like super Aussie, which I thought was great. But I want to really hammer in on the video package of Mariah May because I agree with her. Is her run the best run of any woman as champion?
No. It's 1B.
Oh, okay.
1A is Timeless Tony Storm. Which Tony's run started a little weird because the crowd was still kind of coming around and getting the shtick. She had the feud with Deonna didn't really do much. Like some of those earlier like short feuds didn't do much, but once she got Mariah May in there with her and that entire build to All In was great. Mariah May's run, herself, I would put her up with Tony as maybe the best women's champion they've ever had. But the run has been largely forgettable feud match-wise. She beat Anna Jay. She had the Tijuana street fight with Thunder Rosa that got built up over like 2 weeks and went away. There just hasn't... The title and the run hasn't seemed as important as Mariah herself, which is a credit to her. Mariah May is great, but I would still put the Timeless Tony run just a little bit above it.
As far as runs go, I think honestly, it's kind of hard for me to discredit Jamie Hayter's run. I think that at the time when she was doing it, for one, it was the AEW's real first, and yes, I know Sheeta and Britt Baker, okay, whatever, but this felt on a much bigger level. Somebody who was unexpectedly pushed in front because of the reaction of the AEW fan base, right? You know, put her onto the top. And she was independent of her faction at the time because she was aligned with Britt Baker when they were heels, but she wasn't, you know. And at the time, there was it felt like every title defense was a big deal at that time, right? I feel like the downside to the upside to Mariah's run is Mariah, 1,000%. I can't agree with both of you more on that. The downside to her run is the same sort of downside that Toni Storm had in her run. I didn't think that she would lose any of these matches until the one predictable match that is eventually going to be coming up for both of them, right? Jamie's felt a lot more organic. It felt like, you know, you don't know what's going to happen with it. The fact that she kept winning and kept holding it on until she got too injured to do so, right? Yes, maybe that cut it short, but I would put Jamie's as the best run, even though overall Mariah May and Toni Storm's characters have kind of been larger than Jamie's was at the time.
You know what I'd like to see at Grand Slam? I'd like to see Luther come out and cost Tony the match. And we get even bigger heel Mariah run for a few more months with Luther at her side. I think that's a fun way to kind of not give everyone exactly what they're predicting and still keep it interesting.
Jamie, what do you think about our retort on Mariah's run?
So so you guys had very valid points, and I don't disagree, but I'm looking at it through a little bit different lens, and I think that might be why I agree with her. the thing with Mariah, and we've seen it in the past with other wrestlers, when they get the belt and we feel like they don't deserve to get the belt right then, right? Like you just feel like that's just the wrong person. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Sammy Guevara. Just think of somebody right off the top of my head. But then they prove that, in fact, they just don't deserve it, right? They are not the right person. They prove it through their matches and no whatever. This woman made herself not only a legit top woman in the company, but the top heel. Like, I am beyond impressed of what she's been able to do, because like you said yourself, Austin, it's like you don't remember her matches, but you remember her. Like, you remember her just being her. And it's almost like Tony is the polar opposite of that, with you don't remember a lot of her matches, but you remember her. Like, but in this most obscure way. But we all already knew Tony belonged, because it's Tony Storm. We didn't know Mariah, and Mariah built this thing up, and she absolutely deserved it. And that's why, gentlemen, I think this is the best run.
We want to hear what you guys think too. Give us, if you're in the live chat, put in live chat. If you're not, put down the comments down below. Let us know what you guys think.
But I do have an idea, Austin, very similar to what you're saying.
I want to hear this.
So I do think Luther's going to come down. And I think what's going to happen is he's going to try to give a shoe to Tony, and Tony's like, what the hell's going on? She's going to get Storm zeroed and lose right there, but then she's going to snap back into Timeless. Like, she got dropped on her head by Mariah to like make her not timeless anymore, essentially, right? So I think that's gonna snap her back, and then she's gonna go back on. But then we are gonna get a big Mariah heel run, and then you will get that rematch eventually, or even better, you get the mighty Megasis going up against her and taking that damn belt off of her.
I still don't think she ever goes back to being timeless.
I don't know. I love it though.
Or
something in the middle.
I think it was the better part of a year. It was a great long run, but I don't think that's a character you can do forever. I think she's just as over as she was as Timeless, doing what she's doing now, the whole rookie Tony Storm gimmick and all that. I think this is a good way to just permanently move her back into being just Tony Storm. I think going back to her just being timeless just seems like we basically just reset to where we were a year ago.
Yeah, I don't want to see him, as much as we all love the timeless gimmick, time and place, right? You know, NWO is fantastic the first time, maybe the first 2 times around. By the 4th iteration, yeah, things happen, right?
I'd pop so hard for it. I'd pop.
Yeah, people got to grow and evolve.
I still pop, but then you had like, okay, how many like annual D-Gen reunions do you have where it's just Triple H and
I would just love to see her pop it out as her alter ego from time to time, like something would happen and the timeless one would appear.
Since you both have kind of thrown a thing out of here, here's my thought, right? And maybe it's a little bit kind of somewhere in between both of y'all. All right. Tony wins the belt in Australia.
No.
How it happens, the details, whatever. The second that bell rings and she's given the belt, she drops the whole rookie gimmick and just becomes regular Tony Storm. She knew all along what the fuck she was doing. 100%. This was all gimmick. And she just puts it right in Mariah's face. Maybe she becomes even like super snarky Tony Storm again. I don't know. But I don't think she's going to say what?
She's got to stay a face because you can't.
She can still say face. You can stay a face by being mean to the meanest heel. Because that's still going to be the meanest heel, right? and you give him one of these, you're still face. Okay.
What if we do get some of the timeless at Grand Slam, but it's not Tony Storm? Tony Storm enters first because that's what the challenger does. The black and white and the timeless music hit, and Mariah May comes out cosplaying as timeless Tony Storm, just like she did the Tony entrance that one time when she was following her around just to get in her head. That's fun, interesting storytelling.
Ooh, I love that.
I think
that's great.
With Luther at her side.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is we want to see Luther in Australia, I think is what we're all saying.
There's two people we want, Luther and Harley Cameron. Speaking of somebody who probably should end up in Australia, we are in Tennessee. We are in the volunteer state. So there is Flair country. There is the Federation territory. And then there is also Jarrett country. And
yes, sir.
Damn it, ladies and gentlemen. Tennessee, that is Jarrett country. And I, at first, I'm not even gonna lie, was like, why are we doing this every damn week? Like, I was already kind of getting over it. And I'm loving every last second of it now. And Jeff Jarrett deserves all his flowers. It pains me to finally agree.
I'm not jumping on that boat quite yet, my friend. I still don't care.
So I really appreciated the backstage segment that kind of fixed last week with Karen Jarrett telling him like that's not you. I didn't like what you said out there because it was weird last week. Like him and MJF's promo going back and forth just did not really land. So I liked a little bit of cleanup on that, on basically the whole he kind of let himself go a little bit, but he's back on track. We're clearly working up to an MJF and Jarrett match sometime in the near future.
Sure.
But before we get there, we get Jeff Jarrett and Claudio next week, which should be fantastic. And also, I love when you get to hear Claudio talk. He sounds like a Bond villain. Like, he just sounds dangerous.
Yes. Give that man his flowers, goddammit. I still don't care. And he's probably going to beat Claudio somehow and get a title shot against Mox, which will be borderline elder abuse / homicide. Who knows?
So I think the kind of natural storytelling progression that makes sense is MJF comes out and helps him beat Claudio without him like necessarily realizing it or being on board with it, just to hold it over his head. You got your title shot, but it was because of me. Like that seems like something MJF the character would do. That's a good way to protect Claudio because Claudio should be losing to just about anyone. As much as I love Jeff Jarrett should not be Claudio in the year of our Lord 2025. But that's a good progression of the story as MJF comes out next week and costs Claudio the match.
I'm on board with that. I know that you guys are thinking, here's this guy, I don't give a shit about this. Because I just want them to do something with it. I'm sick of hearing Jeff. I love Jeff Jarrett, but I am sick of hearing 2025 Jeff Jarrett in the ring talk about how much he wants to be a goddamn champion again. I don't care. Show me something. That is what I'm getting at. Yes. I'll take that. That's an angle we can go with. Not
one more week. We're getting there.
And can we just talk about the best line from Excalibur during that whole thing? Claudio is his emissary of violence to Jon Moxley.
That needs to be a t-shirt.
Fire. Emissary of violence.
Well, Moxley first said that when he declined to go over for Wrestle Kingdom, and he said, "I'm sending my emissary of violence over."
I feel like before we move on, we also have to touch on the Jerry Lawler name drop getting booed.
Yeah,
I mean.
I
It's
talked
still
to the
the
king.
Boo.
In Tennessee as well,
Well, to
which
be
that
fair,
should tell
it
you
wasn't Memphis though. It's
it wasn't Memphis. That's
Knoxville.
fair. But I thought that was an interesting choice by Jeff Jarrett to name drop someone that most wrestling fans have realized is kind of a scumbag.
Even in his own home state. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's other small promotions there ran out of Tennessee there trying to run in Kansas City, but we don't care about them. Anyway, moving on. Nice little drop there. We did have a Mighty Megasis Megan Bain video promo. She is officially signed according to Fightful, but they have not sent out the graphic that she is all elite. But all signs are pointing to she's all elite. And if they make a tag team championship for women, which they need to, because more women's matches, I am gonna sign the petition for Chris Statlander and Megan Bain to be the inaugural champions and call it Woman Meat Mountain.
You're almost there. You're almost there, but you've got the teams wrong.
Okay.
That inaugural title match should be Megan Bain and Jamie Hayter against Statlander and Wlill.
Oh yeah. Oh, bringing them back together.
Well, that's the angle they've been playing, that they're getting back together, which is good for Stat.
And there's nothing about the character Willow Nightingale, the ultimate force of good in pro wrestling, that wouldn't forgive Statlander.
Good point. What if Stokely goes with Megan Bain? Because Megan Bain's not exactly the best talker.
My solution to everyone
Okay.
that's not a great talker is let's put Stokely with them, because it'll always work.
I am all for the Stokely bit. My other angle to say, you're talking about tag teams, that's the game we're playing here. How about Megan Bain and Camille?
No, Camille's gonna be the one to take the TBS title.
I don't think.
No.
I'm not even sure Camille's showing back up.
That's just what people are saying.
Really?
I don't think Camille worked at all. I don't think, she didn't get big reactions. And I think it goes back to, I think it was like the first match she had, or one of the first ones, where they ended up kind of turning the angle where she was the incompetent lackey because she is a little clumsy. And if you're supposed to be this big imposing powerhouse and you were the least bit clumsy, it kills the vibe.
Yeah, good point.
I would not be surprised if we just did not see Camille again on AEW TV. I'm not saying we for sure won't. I'm not even saying I don't think we ever should. But it seems to me like they tried Camille and it just didn't work.
Okay.
So speaking of women that didn't work, we'll just stay here and just talk about this for a hot second, gentlemen. Have you heard the reports that Britt Baker has expressed interest in leaving the company, and also the company is fed up with her and does not want her on their TV anymore? Multiple reports say that's false. Some reports say that's accurate. I think there's something in the middle. Gentlemen, do you care?
No.
No.
Not at all.
I have long stopped caring about Britt Baker. I guess my last care went out the window when I found out that her and Adam Cole were no longer together. I go, well, I know what's I'm taking this divorce. Don't care.
So I think Britt Baker does to some degree get unfairly hated on. I think Britt Baker carried the women's division for the first 3 to 4 years of the company. But that being said, the AEW women's division has far outgrown what Britt Baker brings to the table. And if you have someone, and from what we've seen from her return from injury and all that she's kind of got that same thing MJF does, where she has to be the top person in the focal point and doesn't know how to do anything else. And I don't think there's really a space for her at the top of the card in the women's division, just because there are infinitely more talented women there now. And again, I think she gets a little bit of unnecessary hate. I don't think Britt Baker's the worst. I thought she was good for what they needed her for a while. But if she doesn't come back again, I don't think anyone's really going to miss that.
No. I don't know if you guys saw Fernando hopped in, and hello, Fernando, saying that Mariah May's title reign has been very underwhelming. Tony dropped the ball on it, and I completely disagree. I think it's been very, very good, and I feel like it's exactly what we needed. But I do like his idea that, and this goes back to JJ saying that she's known that who she is the entire time. So, Fernando, you and JJ are very alike on that.
I like you, Fernando. Come join the J Money Club.
Here's a fun question for everybody. Is there a current AEW title reign that's not underwhelming?
Current? Oh.
Define underwhelming, because I would say
the reign itself, not the champion, because I, as well as y'all and my wife, who's in Kansas City right now, you can probably hear from there, will stand Takeshita all day long.
That's where I was going.
Has their national title reign
where I was going.
Been particularly notable? We've gotten a couple good matches, but the title itself has not been a focus.
He has taken that title and wrestled it in other promotions as well. He's wrestled it over in Japan and in England. Yeah. But I'm with you.
It's been underwhelming, dude. Like,
I'm with you.
It's okay. It's okay to admit.
I think all the titles have been underwhelming, just the way they've utilized them. Yes.
The only one that has been a focal point, only one. That's Mercedes Moné. That's it. Everybody else is. But whatever.
She also hasn't defended it except for pay-per-views,
which have been bangers.
True.
I feel like that would. I don't even want to say fix the problems, because I enjoyed tonight's episode. AEW has still been perfectly enjoyable for me for quite some time. But I think that would make things a lot more entertaining if we got back, because this is supposed to be the champions company where the best come to wrestle. The best wrestlers wrestle in AEW. Let's start treating the titles a little bit more seriously.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, for as much as, we are fed up with WWE, with how they have a 3-hour show or 2.5-hour show, 4 matches, and it's mainly backstage segments, right? But one thing that they do very well over there is they prop up their champions. They do a very good job of that. I will give Triple H all of his flowers. That's why I enjoy NXT, and NXT this week was actually a good show. Suck it, Austin.
He didn't watch it.
Yeah,
I did not watch
okay. The last hour was really solid. Okay.
So you went from, it was a great show. Well, half of it was good. That's what you just did there, by the way.
I know. Hey, you know what? I'm allowed to change my mind. It's America. But what I'm saying is they do a really good job of propping their champions up. And I feel like that was something that AEW did an excellent job of as well. And just the past 6 months, they just muddied the waters with all their championships. And I don't like it either. I think, is it a get-right move for them to prop them all up, or at least prop a couple of them up? Do you think that would get the train of viewership back on track? Because you do see the gold all being defended week in, week out.
I mean, I don't think it would hurt. I think that, and I understand, just the general viewers burnout, right? You got to keep stuff fresh. I get it, right? Well, and you've got these ebbs and valleys. I understand all these things, right? At the end of the day, I think you hit the nail on the head. This was supposed to be, from the very first press conference there in Jacksonville, Florida, right? A wrestler's company where the best come to wrestle, right? And there's a lot of talk about that, and a lot of, the first few years. Yes, a lot of wrestling and not much else. Okay, we get it, right? And then, lately I feel like I don't want to say he's trying to recreate a different feel, but go with what the WWE playbook is. But I don't know how else I can not say it without saying that statement I just said, because there's a lot to that, right? So, yes, I think going back more. Austin's favorite shows in the past year and a half have been what? The Continental Classic. Why? Because you got bomb-ass wrestling week after week in a tournament fashion where every match mattered, right? There's got to be a way to go back, at least partly, to that original ethos.
And you need some stories in pro wrestling that are not about a title. Some stories need to be, this guy hates that guy. We're bought in. But the titles give you stakes. And for a pro wrestling show...
Did you just say steak?
Yeah, stakes. I gotta give Deuce Bigelow a watch. I love that one growing up.
That was so good. So good.
But so you don't need everything being over a title, but you do need those titles are there for a reason, and it's a storytelling device. It's giving people something to strive for and a goal to accomplish. So you can watch a character you like trying to accomplish a thing and be happy when they do, or sad and boo when they don't. But right now, it just seems like all the titles are an afterthought. You've got MJF and Jeff Jarrett feuding over the right to become the AEW champion, but the AEW champion doesn't even bring the belt out on TV. And this whole thing with Mox and Cope, which we'll get to later, really isn't about the title, which is weird when one guy's literally got the top belt in the company. Tag titles, like we talked about, those have been an afterthought even long before Private Party's reign. They just have not seemed important. You've got so many talented wrestlers. Prop up the things they're fighting for. It's going to make your show more interesting.
Agreed. All right, so let's go ahead and move on, gentlemen, because there actually was a little bit more wrestling that we need to get into. We did have a match between Swerve Strickland and AR Fox, and excellent match. I feel like this was probably the best singles wrestling match of the night, honestly. And then the whole Ricochet piece of this, at first was kind of like, this is a weird serial killer vibe from Ricochet, but I am bought in. I love this. I need more of this. And then this match between these two is going to be a banger.
Oh, yeah, Atlanta. Yeah. Interestingly enough, if you follow these sort of things, like the three, not even close. It's not even close. But the three highest clips from the last couple weeks on their YouTube channel, like by multiplier, is everything around Ricochet and Swerve. There is an audience for this, and it's everybody. Is what it sounds like. So do the things we want to do. I'm all for this. I like this. The match was fine. AR Fox, we love him. We know what we're getting with AR Fox, right? Nobody thought Swerve was losing. But yeah, the whole circumstances, the kidnapping or the mock into a kidnapping with the scissors, and yeah.
Yeah, the match was fantastic. But you knew there was no way AR Fox was winning. You knew this was just to further the stuff with Swerve and Ricochet.
Yep.
My only issue with what Ricochet's doing right now is absolutely nothing. He is doing the Lord's work.
Dude,
and
right?
For a guy that I feel like most wrestling fans were like, he can do cool moves, but largely weren't interested outside of that, he has completely turned that around. And he has been fantastic every time he's been on TV.
I love this version of him. I never knew he had it in him, to be honest with you, because he's always been bland and dry as toast without butter, dude. Like, it has just been woof. And then here he is doing this stuff. It's like, where have you been? Like, yeah, we know you can do a 630 and do all these cool things, but this is something new, and I'm
I'll
a
tell
fan.
you where he's been. He's been over in the company that doesn't let anyone do anything on their own.
That's true.
And that's not to just start ragging on WWE, but
It's
when
true.
everything is so heavily scripted and produced and has to be exactly a certain way, you don't give performers the creative freedom to kind of find what works and try new things. And I think that's what we're getting here is, yeah, where was this? We didn't know he had it because he was never really given a chance to show that off.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons why I really enjoy AEW is because you'll have people you didn't expect look at the Outrunners, come up with an idea they think would be genuinely entertaining, and get the runway to try it out and get it over. Even more so than the Outrunners, which we're going to get to her pretty quick here chronologically, but look at Harley Cameron. 6 months ago, who would have thought Harley Cameron would be one of the most entertaining people
We
on the
were
TV?
dogging on Harley Cameron on this show. And I do mean we. I mean all of us. Don't let these two fool you. Okay.
No. It was a team effort.
We were very not in with Harley Cameron. The whole what was it? QT
QTV for a while, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's where she broke into AEW through QT TV, and then the whole thing with Saraya. But
Which
my
Saraya
God.
is now single, gents.
Oh hey. Hi Saraya.
Oh, look how quickly he changes.
I will not, Ruby. I still got my Ruby over here. You can't see it.
Hi, Ruby.
Hi, Ruby.
All right. So after that, again, great match. You had a learning tree segment, gentlemen, and I felt like we might have started to see a little bit of animosity between LT and the Redwood, but then they kind of quickly switched back.
I don't know if they switched back. I think they introduced the wedge. They showed it to us. They put it back in their pocket. But we know there's a wedge now. That's possible there.
It's a slow burn because they started this, I want to say like 2 months ago. There was one in-ring segment. I can't remember exactly what it was, but Chris Jericho said something and Big Bill just turned and gave him a look.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
because they turn on your friends or whatever, Like, yeah, I remember that.
And Brian Keith has been very much in line with Jericho the whole time. So when this turn eventually does happen, it's going to be very organic. You're going to have the two together against Big Bill, which makes sense.
The Big Bill push is upon us, gentlemen.
The moon is approaching.
The Big Bill babyface run is going to be absolutely magical.
Moon, man. Let's go.
The Big Bill blood moon is in a fortnight. We must sacrifice Brian Keith.
Fortunately, it'll eventually be that way. But they had a great time there in the Rocky Mountains of Tennessee, so that was good.
Yes, yeah, nestled in the Rocky Mountains. Like, come on, man. Like, who writes this stuff? All right, so after that, you had a quick little MJF promo.
Don't care.
And it was fine. It was whatever.
It was an MJF promo. That's fine.
MJF promo. That's all I gotta say. But the thing I loved about most was Hanger came out while he was in the ring, and they had a very nice stare down. It's like, I would love to see this. I would love to see this. And then you finally get Hanger is like almost a face.
Hanger's independent of face and heel labels. Let's be real.
Yeah. Well, we're going to flow right into that because I think we are going to slowly get a Hanger face turn. What I would love to see, and we kind of got that moment with MJF and Hanger, and I've been talking about forever. My biggest problem with MJF is kind of the Britt Baker thing. He's got to be the top guy and beat everyone and be the best, or like what else is there with him? I think it would be good storytelling for even MJF to realize Hanger is not someone he wants to mess with. Like, just the awareness as a character of, Yeah, I'll talk my shit to everybody. Not that dude. I think that's a good storytelling wrinkle. But yeah, Hanger coming out and basically little brothering him and getting him out of the ring so he could beat up the local jobber was solid.
And that fits with what MJF was saying, as much as I say it's another MJF promo, which it was. If you listen to it, though, JB, he did say that the reason he explained that the whole point, he didn't give a shit about Jeff Jarrett, that he went after him because he's easy to manipulate and he's easy to beat and is the quickest way for him to get there, right? So that fits with what you're getting at, Austin. And I want to just say, I feel like Hanger is independent of being, I said this, you mean independent of face and heel labels. Think about back to the Swerve, how what broke him was all the bad things that this man who he's in this feud with did, and the people are cheering for him. The I'm not the bad guy mentality, right? That's the bad guy mentality. So in his head, he's always been the face, right?
And that's the best heels in pro wrestling are the justified heels. Hanger really hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, I don't know. Saturday, you can say you did some stuff wrong.
Burned out a fucking house, man.
There's that too.
Of the guy that broke into his house and stood over his son's crib, like
he burned down the house drinking a whiskey, man. The coldest fucking shot ever shot in wrestling. Just sit there, leg crossed. Just enjoying it. It's like
way too much gasoline on that fire too. That thing was really hot.
Let's roll right into the post match because that's going to
Okay.
continue this conversation about Hanger. Jamie, if you want to tee that up.
Yeah. So after he beat up local competitor Brian Shoop, son of Bob Shoop.
Apparently, he played football at Penn State or something.
Yeah. Well, after the match, Hanger runs back in, hits Shoop with the angel wings, which is funny because the death match on Collision between Christopher Daniels and Hanger was amazing.
Yes.
And the fact that Hanger beat him, went back in, hit him with the angel wings, and just walked out again and just did it again, I thought was great. Cue up Christopher Daniels' music because Hanger gets a mic and or Hanger doesn't get a mic. Sorry, cue up the music. He's like, "Oh, I'm not here to yell at you. I'm not here, whatever." He's like, he just hopes he's happy now because I try to be your friend and you never would let me be your friend and all this stuff. So, gentlemen, this was the crack in the heel Hanger. For sure. Because now he's starting to self-reflect a little.
I mean, that's just good storytelling and character development. And that's why the running joke is, and not even joke, but running saying is that Hanger is the main character of AEW because he seems to be the only person that generally learns and grows from things that happens and reacts naturally to what has gone on around him. Hanger, we had drunk Hanger forever, the anxious millennial cowboy who was depressed and drinking out of the ringside. He finally turned it around, won the AEW title. So Christopher Daniels coming out here and just saying, yeah, I'll never wrestle again. I hope you're happy. That is something that should affect Hanger. And I thought he sold it perfectly. And that's why I think we are starting to get a Hanger face turn. It fits the character. That should be some words that cut him to the core and he realizes I'm not happy. I don't like this person I've become. And that's just good storytelling.
I think, the meta is this. There's two big things. One is if you look back at the entirety of AEW, from its first announcement of being formed to here, Hanger's actually the central character of the whole thing. Pay-per-view was named after a gimmick he did, or a bit he did, excuse me, right? One of the signature pay-per-views, okay? He was kind of brought in, put on the pedestal early to fall to Jericho, then go on the route with Kenny, That falls apart. Up and Down with the Elite. Every signature match has featured him, right? The first Stadium Stampede, all these things, right? His ascension to, well, it was supposed to be his kind of run through, and then with the Dark Order, and then after the passing of Brody Lee, his ascension to be champion, right, is probably the longest story that they had told up to that point. It has been basically, it was in the works for the beginning of the company, right? And then he goes on, loses his way, comes back, has probably the best feud AEW's ever had, and is going to have, because he's going to continue to run for years, right? And now you got the whole thing of Christopher Daniels. In a manner of speaking, if you want to get real deep with it, and Jamie, you're a big movie guys, he has been the centralized character that holds the threads of AEW together, in essence. Did I freeze? Did everybody else freeze? I think, hello?
Can you not hear us?
No, I hear you guys now, yes.
Yeah, you got choppy there for a second. Like you're Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
It's my turn for my Discord to freeze up on me, I guess. Usually it's Jamie's that freezes up on him, so I don't know where you guys caught me at, but anyway, I just think, he's the centerpiece of.
Yeah,
we were
agreeing with you. He was low-key.
You were agreeing with me? Okay, I had no idea. Sorry, because I was like, and I don't know. Yeah. Number 2, let's give a round of applause for Christopher Daniels, ladies and gentlemen. Man who is basically, this was his final match. The indie darling Christopher Daniels, right? TNA stalwart, Ring of Honor. Man who's actually wrestled in every major promotion.
Yep.
Including WCW. Hello. So.
Yeah.
Good
Pour
career,
one out
CD.
for Christopher Daniels. Fantastic career.
Yes. Pour one out for CD.
Still one of my top favorite matches of all time. That triple threat at Unbreakable 2005.
I'm sorry, but there's one thing you can easily top that, and that's a Harley Cameron segment. And we got one.
We got 2.
This is the second one of the night, man.
Yes. So Mercedes Moné comes out and talks about wondering who's gonna be the next woman to step up for her belt. Because she just recently got her new Rev Pro belt. Blah blah blah. Like putting herself over. Which I love this version of Mercedes. Don't get me wrong. I love this version. This is the best Mercedes that there has been. And here comes your guitar, and here goes Harley Cameron singing a song about how she should face her at Grand Slam. Oh, dude, it was so great. And then she's like, "Yeah, you might know me as the girl with the great big point. I'm a little crazy, it's so good." I just want somebody to feel the wrath, and I want her to win. But of course, in typical Mercedes fashion, she's like, "You haven't watched a match on TV, let alone anything else. I'm not gonna wrestle you." Like that's a hard no. Good point. So, who's gonna be her opponent? Is she even gonna have one?
Oh, it's gonna be Harley Cameron.
It's Harley. It's gonna be Harley.
It's gonna be Harley Cameron, and this sets up some really good storytelling they could do, where the next, because like Harley Cameron is not beating her for the title. She should. Harley Cameron could beat Mox for the title, and I would lose my shit. That's how high I'm on Harley Cameron right now. But this would be good heel storytelling for Mercedes, for her to shoot down Harley Cameron. Someone bigger and badder steps up and challenges for Grand Slam, and then she reverses course and decides, actually, I'm going to give Harley her shot there. She deserves it. Like, that's just good heel work.
It's be Wlill. Wlill deserves the title.
I think it'd be the way to go, because thematically, Willow's the one feud that Mercedes still got, a little doubt in. She's not perfect against Willow.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point.
But God bless you, Harley Cameron.
She's just so entertaining.
And she's got better
Every
in the
time
ring.
she's on TV, it's gold.
Yeah, I mean, I watched her match against Julia Hart, and she's gotten better in the ring too. She's working on it.
She's as serviceable as you need to be for someone that's that entertaining. If they can entertain you like that, they don't have to be Kurt Angle out there. They just have to be passable.
Nothing wrong with the comedic wrestler.
Fightful named her the comedic wrestler of the year, guys.
There
2024.
I thought she tied with Chelsea Green.
Yeah, but she still got the award. Don't matter.
Yeah.
She's number one in my heart. Chelsea Green's number two. I love me some Chelsea.
Yeah.
I would love to see Chelsea Green in AEW.
Oh, yeah, but she belongs. Like,
yeah, she is killing it in WWE. But I would just like to see her in AEW.
Yeah. No, I would too. I mean, there's a lot of people I'd like to see in AEW, but I'd rather see AEW iron out some wrinkles first. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but no, Chelsea's killing it over there. She deserves it. But you know who's also killing it? Like this little feud between Julia Hart and Jamie Hayter. I am loving every last ounce of this. Especially, it seems like par for the course. A person from the formerly known as House of Black loses and their opponent puts them over. You know, like, I don't know what it is, but it's like a thing right now.
Everybody loves House of Black or whatever they're called now. So
yeah, so I think they're gonna be called the Hounds of Hell, which makes a lot of sense. I like it. But Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart, excellent match.
Match of the night.
Yeah.
For me, it was.
I don't know, man. That AR Fox Swerve Strickland.
AR Swerve is very good.
I would put Swerve and AR Fox above this one.
I would put this one above that. I'll put this one above it just because I knew I was getting a good match with AR Fox and Swerve. Right? I was hopeful.
You're getting a good match here.
I was hopeful I was going to get a good match with them here. Because you know how they've been lately with this whole, like, we're going to do, this is the second one, and and it doesn't have the same. No, this one felt better than their first match together. And I don't know. I like this one better myself.
I thought this one was missing the crowd reaction for a good deal of it.
Yeah, this is where the crowd kind of lulled a little. Harley Cameron took it out of them.
The crowd's been that a little bit. True. I mean, she can do that to people. The crowd's been that way a little bit lately on women's matches. I don't know if they're just maybe not positioned right in the card. I don't know. But
I think the problem with this match is people want to like Julia Hart. People like Jamie Hayter, but it wasn't like face, and it was just.
And it wasn't heel.
I don't think anyone was invested in this match. I think the post match, Jamie putting her over, helped a lot. I think the former House of Black is turning face sooner rather than later. But yeah, I think that was the biggest problem with it. Is this did have some story to it. But you're not really invested in one person more than the other enough to like really get into it as a crowd. I mean, the match was good.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Do you think this is the return? This after this, whatever they don't, because they're gonna have a rubber match probably in Australia. Who knows, right? But do you think this is when she's done with this whole bit here with Julia? The time to begin moving Jamie towards a belt.
Maybe
she's got enough momentum for that, or you think she still needs to kind of go?
She's lulled hard since she's been
I don't think she has any momentum.
I don't like her. I don't know. And I don't know if it's just kind of the stylistic changes she's done. Her character just doesn't have the same sort of panache that she used to.
So when Jamie Hayter won the title the first time, everyone was so tired of the Britt Baker run because it had been years that I think a lot of that shine came from just a feeling like we have moved on from Britt as champion and we're on to something new. And that's not to take anything away from Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter is phenomenal in the ring.
Yeah.
But then she gets hurt. She's gone for a long time. you had a bunch of really talented women either show up or start making big strides. And she seems less unique and special than she did when she had the belt the first time.
Yeah.
I think you certainly can heat her back up. It's just a much steeper climb than you would have imagined, because the months leading up to her coming back, like we regularly brought it up among multiple people on the internet of what's the answer to this problem? Well, when's Jamie Hayter coming back? But the women's division has just grown so much since then that there's a lot of really interesting characters who are also really good at wrestling. So Jamie's got to kind of find that thing to really get back over with the crowd.
Yeah.
I think she will, though. Like
Me too.
she'll get there eventually.
Yeah. I think she will. I think that, Tabisha's a good case of point to do the female hanger angle, right? Like Hanger's ascension to be champion, right? Because he was basically, he had to create his own sort of path, and kept falling short, right? I think if you can go that angle with her, that builds some depth. And, I'm so sick of them. Now I'm going on a tirade. I shouldn't, but I just want to see him do something that's a little more self-serving to the wrestler than to have the build up for title shot fail, go into oblivion.
Well, even then, the build up to title shot and fail, not the go to oblivion part, but once you build a healthy top of your division for the titles, they don't have to succeed every time. The problem is you've had Jamie Hayter back forever. You've got Willow. You've got Statlander. And Willow and Statlander got shots at Mercedes' title. But like we were saying earlier, Mariah May has defended against Thunder Rosa, who I like Thunder Rosa, but she hasn't really been featured much or pushed since that initial run with Britt a long time ago. Anna Jay was getting title shots. Like, you're kind of just throwing people that are never going to win anyway at your champions instead of having your really talented, really good top of the roster people regularly contending for the titles. And I think that's what's kind of stuck Jamie Hayter in this weird limbo zone where she's not really positioned for a title, but it makes her seem lesser when Anna Jay's getting shots at the champion. Thunder Rose is just showing up and getting shots at the champion. Instead of, hey, you've got a bunch of really talented women, build up the top of your division for both titles, and let's just have a really healthy women's division in general.
Agree. Let's go ahead and just finish out the night, shall we, gentlemen?
Sure.
If we have to.
Something
We
happened.
had Adam Copeland going up against Pac. So 2 single syllable names, Cope and Pac, going up against each other. And it was a decent match. I felt like it was definitely conflicting styles. Sometimes, some people are just great with no matter what with their dance partner. And it was still a good match. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the match. It was very well done. Until the end. The end just pissed me off because I'm just kind of done with the story. Actually, I'm not kind of done. I am done with the storyline.
Kind of done.
I thought this is the perfect opportunity to bring out Beth Phoenix, and they didn't.
I don't think Beth Phoenix is showing up.
Nope, not now. Not now, I don't.
And I kind of hope she doesn't, because I would like Cope and the Death Riders to just kind of be done. Clearly, it's not going to be. We're probably going to get Cope and Mox at Grand Slam, hopefully. As much as I would like to see the Jeff Jarrett title shot there, I don't want this to keep going on. It needs to get freshened up. On paper, Cope versus Pac should be like entertaining. It should be a draw, something you want to see. This kind of had the same problem Julia Hart and Jamie Hayter had. People want to like Pac. Pac is cool. Cope, most people have fond memories of, but you don't want to see him in the title picture now. you don't really want to cheer Pac because you're just kind of tired of Death Rider stuff. And you could tell the crowd was not really into this match.
Not at all.
The biggest pop was for Jay White at post-match.
I mean, other than people popping for Cope's music, because that's what they do. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the old Jericho gimmick, you know? I mean,
I'm in a weird spot with Cope because I have historically always been a huge Edge fan. Like that was my guy when I was a teenager and watching wrestling throughout the Attitude Era and then into the Radar Superstar run and all that. I don't know what I actually want to see him do at AEW.
I mean, I liked him when he first came to AEW until he got hurt, right? I thought he was generally really good. Okay?
Yeah.
Since he's come back from this injury, I don't know, this is superficial. He doesn't look good. And I don't know what he's doing, right? I mean, like, physically he doesn't look good. He looks, something's off. I don't know what it is, right? The giant gray beard, who knows, right? But it's just,
yeah, like that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's just,
how do I put this nicely? He is boring right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think at the end of the day, that creatively he's boring. And I think that's why we feel this way about his wrestling, because his promos have been boring. His wrestling's been kind of boring. You know, he's wrestling safe. That's probably a good way of putting it. I think that's what it is. He's a little bit more safe right now because of his ankle. I think it's not. I think he's scared to like go after it, but
which I get.
I mean, that could be me.
That.
But he's just bland. Like he is literally that one friend who doesn't season anything.
And he's that by that one friend, you mean that one friend of FTR? That's the only thing I really know about this. Is how close he is to FTR.
So
I
think the biggest problem with him is that he has just always been better as a heel. Yeah. We got the babyface run when he showed up because it was cool. Edge is in AEW. Like, that's exciting. Let's have our victory lap for this guy we love. But his best work has always been as a heel.
Yeah.
And he's just not interesting as a babyface.
Like Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I can't have everybody heel though.
So we have Kenny. You got company full. My God,
Omega.
Well, Kenny can be both.
Well, Kenny needs to be the face right now. He needs to be the face of the company. He needs that belt on his shoulder, just showing it off to the world.
Yeah,
I am.
And then at All In, he just needs to drop it to Harley Cameron
in a death match.
I hope sometime in the not too distant future we get an angle or a segment where Jeff Jarrett hands Harley Cameron the guitar and passes off the guitar gimmick of just bashing people in the head over to Harley Cameron. That's what I want.
You know, he probably will do that because she is playing the guitar and everything. It makes a lot of sense.
See, okay, that brings me full. It is. And that's full circle. That's the sort of stuff you would have expected to happen because it's just weird out of nowhere, right? First 2-3 years of AEW, right? Something weird like that. Like, why would Jeff Jarrett and Harley Cameron even be crossing paths? Who cares? Just be funny. Do it, Jeff. Okay, right? You know, that's the sort of shit I think AEW really needs, right? Kind of that underground spontaneity, right? You know, the old like rebel devil may care attitude about it. You know, that's the sort of stuff I think that we're missing.
Yeah, like occasionally you got to do shit just because it's fun. Because pro wrestling is inherently silly. Yeah. And you do need some serious stuff on there. Like, give me a death match any day of the week between two guys that hate each other. but also give me stuff that's just fun, which Harley Cameron is, and her segment tonight was fun. But we need more of that, like you're saying, spontaneous, just randomly. Why would this ever happen? I don't know, but I'm sure as hell glad it did.
Instead of everybody's here for violence and wanting to destroy everybody else.
We've got plenty of violence.
That feels like what everybody's motivation is in AEW right now. Right?
Yeah. Speaking of violently motivated folks in AEW, though,
oh god,
what would have saved the end of this show? I said I was gonna put a pin in this earlier. Now I'm pulling that pin out. It was cool to see Jay White show up, but Jay White running down to fight off a couple of henchmen, then just get his ass beat too, like a little underwhelming. I think the lights should have gone out, and Brody and Buddy should have shown up to clear house and gone after the Death Riders. That, I think, immediately puts some juice into this angle and gives them some people to feud with that are just as violent as they are.
Ooh, the Hounds of Hell. Yes.
And now you've got Julia Hart as a female to go against Marina Shafir.
Yep, sign me up. I'm in. Make it happen.
Put this man on payroll, Tony.
Like, I think that's a very, if you don't want to just abandon the storyline, which clearly they're not going to do, I think that's and again, you had the promo from I'm just going to call them the Hounds of Hell because it's a cool ass name, and I hope that's what they're going with. But you had their promo. We're stepping out of the shadow. We're here to kick ass. We've got heel groups kicking ass all over the show. Give me the group of people everybody loves, because the three of them are all super over with the crowd.
Everybody loves
as the ones when the heels show up to just beat up unsuspecting baby faces. You're gonna wish you hadn't, because the lights are gonna go out. You're gonna hear some loud barking, and then you're gonna get your ass beat. That's good TV.
Yeah, because they even said like when the dog, when you hear us bark, like we're gonna bite.
Oh.
I don't think this will happen, but what would put this over the top is if they change their music and they start coming out to DMX.
That'd be so sick.
I have a stinky suspicion. Jamie, go home. You're drunk. I have a stinking suspicion that might not be their musical forte. I'm just throwing
probably
that out
not.
there,
But just imagine them just new jacking folks with DMX just playing on a loop in the background.
I mean, considering one of the guys is in God's Hate, so I mean, they have a band already. So just saying,
Guys, we need this song about dogs barking. All right, let's go. Hey guys, we need to come up with this song about these two guys who hate each other, but are coming.
All right, let's move on. That's been Dynamite, ladies and gentlemen.
Against people they also hate. They're going to be called the Omega Powers. What do you think?
Come on. All right. What else in wrestling you guys want to get to?
Tis the season, gentlemen. Tis the season. We got 2 weeks till the Rumble?
A week from Saturday.
Yeah. So a week and a half. So
it is Rumble season, and there's a nice wrinkle in Rumble season this year because WWE is now officially working with TNA.
They are inching closer to purchasing TNA. I'm calling it again. It's gonna happen. Austin's gonna finally get to see the back catalog of TNA impacts from the turn of the century all the way to present at some point here. The glory days of the six-sided ring. It's gonna happen. Of course, that does involve watching some Tessa Blanchard, unfortunately, which I decided.
Speaking of TNA, I don't know if you saw the ultimate WWE dick writer, Eric Bischoff, talking about his boy Hogan, saying that the fans booing him was a one-off.
I did not see that. But because JJ just name dropped a current TNA superstar, who's the more hated racist, Hogan or Tessa Blanchard?
Probably
Tessa.
Hogan.
Tessa.
Oh, it's close.
Wrestling fans will say Tessa. WWE fans will say Hogan.
Hogan just got booed. Tessa got actual "she's a racist" chants at a TNA pay-per-view in Texas, where they typically don't mind a little bit of racism.
Yeah. And then she beat Jordan Grace. And then afterwards, Jordan Grace was giving hugs and everybody. And then like, here's Tessa just clapping and like literally Jordan goes down the line, skips her, and just keeps going.
See, this is. I feel like that's the perfect way to cement WWE and TNA's new working relationship. Hey, we've got a person who's talented in the ring, but they're toxic as hell and real bad for PR. Bring them in.
I feel
yeah,
like...
what's Velveteen Dream doing these days, guys?
I mean...
At this point.
And it kills me because...
Styles back.
I wanted to watch that pay-per-view, except for that. And I even said before, it's like, okay, everybody knows I've said, people gotta get a second chance. But this woman has had multiple chances and continued to fail on that racist card, right? For somebody who's fluent in Spanish and used to be married to a Mexican, has been in Puerto Rico for God knows how long, right? Wrestling in their promotions, right? It's just mind-boggling how idiotic that she can be. Now she is a Blanchard, so there is that. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I was like, I can't watch it. I wanted to see the Clockwork Orange match. I really wanted to see the Rosemary Clockwork Orange match because that's it's just another hardcore match. But it's Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange. Hello, let's go. But yeah, I couldn't watch the pay-per-view just because she was on it, and so that's a shame.
Well, with TNA, I think we already got to this, but since TNA and them are working together, there is a good chance that you are going to see some surprise entrants into the Royal Rumble.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna call out my first one.
Okay.
And then let's just keep going. We're gonna start with the men, and I think the newly crowned TNA champion Joe Hendry is a lock because I believe in Joe Hendry.
I think that's low-hanging fruit too, though.
That is low-hanging fruit.
Sure.
I would actually throw out the former TNA champion, and that we're gonna get Dolph Ziggler in the men's Rumble.
Actually, as Dolph,
I think it'd be as Nick Nemeth.
I think it would have to be as Nick Nemeth. But I think that's an easy nostalgia pop. Not that he's been gone for that long, but easy guy to throw out there, spend a little while in, get thrown out. The WWE crowd all knows him. He's going to get a pop when he enters. I think that is low-hanging fruit from a booking sense that would just be easy to do.
Speaking of easy, this is the easiest call because this has been like writing on the wall. I know I have pontificated about this for years. Finally making his WWE debut because he'll be there eventually and he'll be a star there. The 5-tool player, Moose.
really, I don't see that one happening.
I see Moose.
I don't see Moose in the Rumble only because I don't see them throwing a dude that big that isn't one of theirs out there.
Yeah.
I would love to see Moose in the Rumble.
There's a lot in that building and that campus that wants to see Moose in WWE. Period.
Yeah, like I would like to see him in WWE.
So that's why I say we'll put him in the Rumble.
He needs to have a program in NXT first. I think it'd be good for him and Femi.
Eventually he can go to NXT, but the Rumble's the Rumble. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean,
you already talked about NXT wrestler Joe Hendry. TNA champion Joe Hendry, who is on how many episodes of NXT, right?
Yeah. I think that's the most likely is Joe Hendry. I'm going to make a wild prediction here and say we will not see PCO in the Rumble.
What makes you think that? Since we just went nuts. He went nuts.
Yeah, and for those of y'all that didn't keep up with what went on in GCW over the weekend, he destroyed the TNA digital media title as a shoot. This was not an angle of any sort. And a lot of people were very hot about it. 'Cause apparently he's done with the company and he just like destroyed the belt on the GCW show.
Speaking of GCW, shout out to Allie Catch. Broke her leg. Hopefully she's doing better. Steph DeLander is taking care of her, which I thought was really cool. She does have a GoFundMe up to help her, because she's a professional independent wrestler, so she needs money, guys. So help her out.
All right. Speaking of women wrestlers, what about your women's choice for surprise entrance?
Well, I feel like, again,
I don't think you can even say Jordynne Grace is a surprise. You can't.
No, because she's going to be a WWE wrestler by the time this happens, because she's already finishing up with the company. But I will go with the women's champion, Masha Slamovich, because she has also been on NXT just recently a couple times. Makes a lot of sense.
Masha's been on there. Rosemary's been on there as well.
I think Masha in the Rumble would be the move if you're going to take anyone from the TNA women's division and throw her out there.
Do you think that the possibility, I mean, if another person was running this, we knew it'd be a likelihood, but do you think there's a possibility that they put Tessa in the Rumble?
Yes.
Not even. No.
Wow. Just boom. Both of you just
I think yes, only because basically the same joke I made 5 minutes ago. That's the most WWE thing of all time.
It really
is. She literally got she's a racist chance like 2 weeks ago. Let's throw her in the Rumble.
So WWE.
Which if those chants hadn't happened, I would say that would be where I'd put my money on any of the women in TNA. That seems like someone WWE would definitely want to throw out there. And especially having a father who's famous in the business, they like that kind of stuff too. Mm-hmm. It would not surprise me in the slightest, but let's hope they don't.
I hope not. Jamie, you went starkly in the other direction.
Yeah, I think before the chance there was a chance. After the chance, there's no chance. No chance in hell.
WWE likes doing things just to spite the people that clearly don't want it.
I'm going to say this. If she comes out, I will not be surprised. It's not going to be one of those, oh my God. It'll just be like, you sons of bitches, you fucking did it. Right? One of those.
Yeah. I would like to see Ash by Elegance in the Women's Rumble.
I would like to see Heather by Elegance. That's what we call
Heather Reckless, yeah.
Because we know Heather Reckless. So we've seen but no. Ash by Elegance would be an interesting one, I like the idea of ex-WWEs coming back in their original, their new gimmick names, right? I like
That's
that.
why I want Matt Cardona, because I think the pop would be deafening for him.
Yeah. I would love to see a Cardona appearance. And we talked about that last week a little bit.
Yeah.
So for the Women's Rumble, we are all in agreement. Jordynne Grace showing up in there is pretty much a lock. So saying Jordynne Grace is going to show up is not a bold take, but I would go a step further. Jordynne Grace should win the Women's Rumble.
Ooh, I actually love that idea.
So the one thing they have never done in the 36 whatever years of the Royal Rumble is have someone you never expected win it and get their WrestleMania title shot. Jordynne is plenty capable in the ring to go out there and have a Mania match with anyone on the women's roster. And I think Jordynne and Rhea Ripley is more interesting than pretty much anything else you could book for the women's title on Raw right now. It's probably going to be Charlotte Flair. Like that that seems like what they're going to do.
All that being said, we all know it's going to be
Charlotte and Tiffy. Charlotte and Tiffy.
You can get to Charlotte and Tiffy a million other ways.
You don't
I think
even need
Jordan
a Royal
Grace-
Rumble for Charlotte and Tiffy. You
Yeah.
just gotta be like, oh look, there's Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, she
Charlotte,
could just
have you
show up, be
seen
like,
Tiffy?
I'm a 16-time champion. I want a shot. And like, okay, we're
Okay.
doing that. But Jordan Grace she was in the Rumble last year, but is not unknown, but not largely known. Someone like that winning the Rumble is the one like big Rumble thing they've never done. They talked about it 32 years ago in 1993, having Scott Steiner come in and win the Rumble and go face Yokozuna, or not Yokozuna, Bret Hart WrestleMania. Didn't pull the trigger then. You really haven't had anything close to it since. They typically just stick with the regular top people winning. Every once in a while, there's a higher mid card they might try and elevate. But Jordan Grace winning the Women's Rumble gives you a really fun story to tell up to Mania.
I love it. I love the idea of that.
I'm good with that. I like that.
And like, they're probably going to end up just sending her to NXT, but you don't need to send Jordan Grace to NXT.
She already
She's a
did the whole
WWE
NXT. She already did things in
main roster.
NXT.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially because you got Julia down there and Stephanie, right? I don't think you need Jordan Grace in NXT. I think
You already
Jordan
got
Grace.
Muscle Mommy down there. You already got
Yeah.
what's her name? Okay,
And the men's Rumble
Help
is just going to be too heavy with top guys to have anyone you wouldn't expect win it, even though it should be Braun Breaker. Like Braun Breaker winning the men's Rumble and us getting Braun Breaker and Gunther at Mania would absolutely slap. Zero chance they do that. But the women's Rumble, like there's not really anyone on the cusp of just becoming a megastar that like you need that spot for here. So go with Jordan Grace. Do something new and unexpected.
Why
I
do you
can
say
dig it.
zero chance? I don't think it's a zero chance. I think there's a Braun Breaker's
Zero.
gotten pushed. Okay, all right.
Zero only because the men's Rumble is going to be very top heavy with talent this year. You're going to have Cena, you're going to have Roman Reigns, you're going to have CM Punk, you're going to have Seth Rollins, you're going to have Drew McIntyre. Like you've just got so many guys at the top of your card that they're not going to have someone like Breaker go over there.
I think there's a better chance of the Steelers winning a playoff game than Braun Breaker winning the Rumble.
I hope Josh Allen beats the curse. I hope he just goes
No, you don't.
off. Yes, I do actually. Now I didn't give a shit, but now I'm choosing a side.
Oh, did I strike a nerve?
I'm on the Bills train all the way. I want the Bills to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
No. I want the three-peat. I want us to fulfill our destiny as the villain. Like
No, you guys are
everybody
already the
hates us.
villain.
everybody
already
hates
the
us
villain.
now. I know. Hey, Patriots, I feel
You guys have gone full patriot. You've gone full patriot.
Yep. Love every last second of it. Yes, the hate flows through you.
I cannot support the Chiefs winning anything anymore because I'm really tired of the way Patrick Mahomes plays football.
Yeah, winning sucks.
No, it's not the winning. It's the gaming the quarterback protection rules to wait to the last second to try and slide and drawing bullshit penalties.
Yet
It's-
you
it's-
like
it's-
Josh Allen?
It's the time. First of all,
I like
could
the
get into
Bills.
this.
I don't
He
even
is
like the Bills.
ultimate
I just
flopper.
want the Bills to win because they have been a losing franchise forever. I would have been fine with any of the Bills, the Vikings, or the Lions, but two of the three didn't get the job done earlier in the playoffs. So now I'm on the Bills trade.
for what it's worth, I'm just going to put this out there. Sliding late, gaming system, a little bit, whatever, right? But on the other hand, Jamie, he does get the Tom Brady treatment, 100%. Both of those roughing the passers were not roughing the passers on any other quarterback in the league. I'm just
Oh, that's
saying.
bullshit.
Yeah,
That's
maybe-
bullshit.
Maybe there's a couple other ones they would call it on. Maybe Goff or Lamar. Who knows?
It-
Jared
it
Goff
definitely
got
Josh.
murdered. He got murdered on a comeback. No flag thrown on him whatsoever, right? Same thing happened to multiple other quarterbacks, but no, it's damn true. It happened to Tom Brady, and now it's happening to Mahomes, take it.
Yeah,
Hey, that's
you
it
know what?
happens.
You're absolutely right. Those calls were the reason why the Texans lost. It had nothing to do
I am
with.
not saying it's the reason they're
Oh,
lost.
no,
I'm
no.
just
It wasn't,
saying,
because
I
they
am
got
saying
sacked
100%.
missed 2 field goals, an extra point, nothing major.
No, the Texans lost because their offense was not particularly good this year. And I don't even buy
Texans weren't beating the
into
Chiefs. We all know
everyone's
that.
conspiracy that the refs are gaming the game for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I just hate the way Patrick Mahomes plays football,
Yeah.
it's
where
most
he games
quarterbacks
the protection
nowadays.
rules.
I don't think that they're
And
gaming the
it's
game for the
annoying.
Chiefs. I'm saying the Chiefs get the calls. It doesn't necessarily mean that the game is it costs the game, but it contributes. It definitely can contribute.
Yeah. I mean, statistically, being 13th in the league in penalties. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get
no,
it.
like
We do get all the calls.
overall penalty wise, like the Chiefs get called pretty fair. It's specifically Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Anytime he's running the football,
Yep.
waiting till the last
That's any
second.
quarterback, dude. I will fight this until the day I'm dead, because there are other quarterbacks who do the same shit. The only difference is when we get these penalties, we take advantage of it like no one else does. That's why people get pissed, because we're the only team in the NFL this year. If you made a mistake like that, or the refs made a mistake, we capitalize on it 100% of the time. That's why everybody hates us.
Except for when you played Buffalo.
Well, he didn't have a rushing attempt in that game, FYI.
And then they lost. That's kind of
I know.
Full Mark Wahlberg over here. Full Mark Wahlberg-esque patriotism coming
Dude,
from
I'm
Jamie
just saying, like,
Faulkner's
if you're gonna come at me, you better come with some facts, because you know I know mine. So that's all I'm saying.
He does. I mean, he
And,
is.
and all I did was throw a little shade at the fact that you haven't won a playoff game in, was it 7 years?
Yeah, last time we gave me one is when we beat the
It was
Chiefs by
us.
scoring a
Yeah, you beat
touchdown.
us. Yeah, like I'm
And that
saying,
was a
like, it's been a
fantastic
minute.
Monday, because my God, you guys were such assholes on the Friday before. Such assholes. And then all of a sudden Monday comes around. Guess who came in their Steeler gear? And everybody just was like, shut up. I don't want shut up. Like, yeah.
I know it was
Yeah,
over 7 years. Damn, that was a long time ago.
That was a long
While
time
talking
ago. We're
about
old.
the Chiefs and the Steelers will divide us a bit. If there's one thing sports fans can always come together on, it's clowning on the Cowboys. And now that the Commanders have made the NFC Championship game,
Dude,
every
they're
other
scary,
team
too.
has made the NFC Championship since the last time the Cowboys made it there. And that's glorious.
I know. Two of them are in this week's, which I'm not gonna lie. Jane Daniels just going off, man. I called it coming out of college. I'm like, this guy's gonna be it.
Pick in the draft to
Dude's gonna be
NFC
it.
Championship game.
I mean,
and he's been head and shoulders the best quarterback in the playoffs.
we were talking
Come
about
on
that
now.
before the draft, Jamie. Remember we were talking about it before the draft? I'm like, nah, Jane Daniels is it, man. He is gonna be it.
I liked him. I liked him out of LSU. I thought
But do you think
I liked him better than Caleb. I thought Caleb had bust written all over him, and so far
Yeah.
I've been proven
so
right.
far he has,
No,
right?
Caleb was good this year. Caleb actually, like, if you look at his numbers, was a solid quarterback. He had no coaching and a terrible offensive line, but like Caleb Williams will be just fine.
The Bears were a train wreck of an organization, you know. I think Bo Nix surprised me for his development, you know. But Jaden, oh my God, like honestly, like the way they're playing right now, they're legit scary. They're playing at the right time. They're hot. So.
I want a Chiefs Washington Super Bowl.
That would be entertaining.
Because I just don't want to have to whoop up on the Eagles again and hear them bitch about it. I'd rather whoop on somebody who hasn't been there or not.
So I guess the moral of the story is, of course, go Bills. And
hey, winner of that game, I'm going to call this now. Without ego, without anything, the winner of the AFC Championship is winning it all.
Super Bowl.
Period.
I don't know. Like Josh Allen finally clearing the hurdle, beating the Chiefs, and making it to a Super Bowl, only to lose to a rookie quarterback would be pretty funny.
It'd be the most Buffalo thing to ever happen.
It would be the most
Yeah, like everybody say it's a rivalry between them. I was like, nope, he didn't even win afterwards. It's not a rivalry.
No, and it'd be similar. And what if it ends up being like the last time that Buffalo and Washington faced off in the Super Bowl, where Washington obliterated Buffalo? Like that game was over halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
All right, guys. Sorry, we got off track. We're coming up here. Enjoy your football this weekend. Enjoy your wrestling every weekend. And if you're close to Wichita, go enjoy some Heartland Championship Wrestling this Saturday night.
Sure.
We will be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, welcome. Hello. Thank you for joining. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe to hear more. We'll be back every week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 6 words for you. I want to feel the wrath.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.